not to sound like someone judging or condemning all that's going on today, but to stress the opportunity to understand why it's going on and where did it all begin. It all started in the most unlikely place, in a garden, called the Garden of Eden, which later became the Garden of Evil. Title of this video, The Garden of Evil. They were kicked out of the Garden of Eden and turned to the Garden of Evil. Then we watched Cain. And they went the way Cain. And others didn't follow the way Cain. He slew his brother that was offering the way back to shed blood of an innocent lamb. Powerful symbols. And we get lost in the symbols. We're living those symbols today. Unreal. The Garden of Evil. You don't want to stay in this Garden of Evil. You don't want to return to the Garden of Evil. But once Adam left, you want to return. But you have to turn around to see it. The fall of humanity. All being born under the wrath of God for being born to the loins of Adam. And God offering a way of escape, a promise to Eve. Later, after the biblical flood, of those generations that didn't see this, he offers that same promise to a pagan, Abram, who later becomes Abraham. He'd be the father of all nations that would turn around and see the promise. Get in the bosom of the promise of the Father, being begotten in Christ, who was in the bosom of the Father was in him, and we were in them. And we left it. Being born to the loins of Adam, fallen, cut off from our spirits that would tell us this. I mean, there's so much to it. How many more videos I have to put out to get you to see this? We're so caught up in secular religious opinions and the symbology of it all. And its diversity of interpretation and ideas. Heading to the mind of Christ in our spirit can be seen. The carnal mind will never figure this out. We will be forever each other's third according to race, culture, creeds, and gender. You have to get past that. I'm just one vessel sharing this along with others who are touching upon it. I have no credentials other than I claim to hear from my Father. And few that can hear it too. Have a form of it, but we don't see the power of it all. Father, how in your name do we ever see this? How do you get all men to see the mystery that Paul revealed? All of us are so willing to get revenge, seeking to justify our actions. We fail to see in all that began, where And when did all this begin? It all began in the most unlikely place, in a garden. A time when humanity could hear God speak to them, giving them warnings. What we see unfolding before us this very day. And we ask, what might that be? The slaying of the offspring of God. It's written we are all one blood. But we see this blood broke down into races, cultures, second religious creeds, and opinions of gender, all at war with one another. Not knowing you're all from one blood. If you throw this out, the book of Genesis, the book of beginnings, you'll know the beginning from the end, and everything in between won't make any sense. So for those who are willing to see the book of beginnings and the book of endings, so that everything in between can make some sense, I share with as much as I can, when I can. And the views and perspective our Father's given to us, available to all of us. Not to the carnal mind, but to the mind of our spirits. The same mind that was in the Son of God, as the Son of Man will always with us. They came to bring peace, not as the world knows peace. Who would reveal the divisions amongst us. Each of us at one another's throat. Not that he would bring the divisions are already there. All he would reveal and hope. Going to the book of Acts, chapter 17, that we might grow after him. See the limitations and boundaries that he put there. The Tower of Babel. To the confusion of the languages, separation of the races and the lands, and allowing that to be there in hope that each one of us would see what it is he wanted us to see. What took place in the most unlikely place called the Garden of Eden, where it all began. Started with a separation of male against female. The divisions. Then came into cultures, races, Canaanites, against the children of Adam and his son Seth, up to Noah. And God had to wipe out that whole divided world. Crazy. All that we see today, but this war in the Middle East did not need to ever be. If we would only turn around and face the promise that God had given to Adam, Eve, and later to Abraham, a promise of a deliverer who would reconcile the differences between the left and right, and cure the greatest injustice ever to be served upon humanity, our being under the wrath of God and blaming one another. I am only one voice in the wilderness crying between two camps to turn around and face the truth of our fall, of all humanity, and see how God himself has reconciled us by the offer of his Son, to take this wrath upon himself and remove the wrath that we've placed on one another. not willing to face the truth. God has set us free. If He sets us free, we will be free indeed. I can only share what He shared to me, as others are doing today, in hope that all these divisions would end and see the purpose of them. I hope that we might grow after Him. Our Father, who is in heaven, whose name is the only holy name that we can name, and pray that His kingdom would come, that His will be done on this earth as it is in heaven, and give us each our daily bread. Have us forgive one another of our trespasses and their trespasses, and realize His Son took it all away and nailed it to His cross.